Wife with bizarre pre-existence delusions found dead in her bathtub. The mysterious case of Faylene Grant. In today's analysis, we dive into the perplexing and tragic story of Faylene Grant, a woman whose deep religious beliefs and troubling visions ultimately led to her untimely death, and raised serious questions about the role her husband, Doug Grant, may have played. Background. Faylene Eves Grant was born on December 31, 1965, in Navajo County, Arizona. A devout Mormon, Faylene's faith deeply influenced every aspect of her life. She married young, had 2 children, but eventually divorced. In 1993, she met Doug Grant at a gym near Phoenix. Doug, also divorced and a father of 1, operated a successful vitamin and supplement business, consulting for major NBA teams like the Phoenix Suns and Miami Heat, earning about $1 million a month. Only 4 months after meeting, Faylene and Doug married and went on to have 2 sons together. However, their marriage was rocky, largely due to Doug's multiple affairs. Faylene believed that God instructed her to divorce Doug because of his infidelities, which she did in 2000. Doug quickly moved on with a much younger woman, 19-year-old Hillary DeWitt. But in a strange twist, Faylene later claimed that God told her to reunite her family, and she and Doug remarried in July 2001 at the Excalibur Hotel in Las Vegas. Events leading to Faylene's death. Just 2 months after their second marriage, Doug and Faylene took a trip to Timpanogos National Park in Utah. There, Faylene claimed to have seen an image of Jesus in the clouds. Moments later, she climbed a rock wall and allegedly fell 60 feet down a cliff. Miraculously, she survived with only bruises and scrapes, thanks to hitting a pine tree during the fall. They returned to Gilbert, Arizona, but Faylene remained weak and in pain. Doug's friend, a physician assistant named Chad White, prescribed Ambien for her insomnia but warned Doug not to fill the prescription without consulting him first. On the morning of September 27, 2001, Doug claimed he found Faylene unconscious in the bathtub. Oddly, he did not call 911 immediately. Chad White ended up making the call. Faylene was rushed to the hospital but was pronounced dead that afternoon. She had high levels of Ambien in her system, but her official cause of death was ruled as drowning, and initially classified as an accident. Less than a month later, Doug married Hillary DeWitt. Investigation and trial. Although Doug seemed to have moved on, police reopened the investigation years later. In 2005, Doug was indicted for first-degree murder. His trial began in 2008, and in March 2009, he was convicted of the lesser charge of manslaughter, along with 3 aggravating factors: cruelty, financial motive, and harm to the victim's family. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Crucially, investigators found extensive writings from Faylene predicting her own death. She expressed a belief that her life would end soon because God had a higher mission for her. Faylene also believed in a pre-existence theory, that a spirit named Nicole needed to be born, and that Hillary DeWitt was meant to be the mother. Faylene even urged Doug and Hillary to marry after her death, instructing her children to treat Hillary as their new mother. Analysis: was Doug guilty? Evidence against Doug. History of serial infidelity. Remarrying Faylene despite being involved with Hillary. 200 phone calls between Doug and Hillary while married to Faylene. Suspicious circumstances around Faylene's fall in Utah. Number 911 call from Doug when finding Faylene unconscious. Eagerly filling the Ambien prescription despite warnings. Meeting Hillary just hours after Faylene's death. Collecting $300,000 in life insurance after Faylene's death. Evidence supporting Doug's innocence. Faylene's clear obsession with death and spiritual afterlife. Faylene's writings never portrayed Doug negatively. No forensic evidence indicating foul play. Major investigative failures by police. Potential bias from investigators and jurors. Unfinished additional life insurance paperwork, which would have earned Doug more if he waited. In the end, although Doug was found guilty of manslaughter, significant doubts remain. Was Faylene's death truly murder, or was it the tragic culmination of her deep religious delusions, amplified perhaps by Doug's passive encouragement? Conclusion: Doug Grant may have exploited Faylene's beliefs, but whether he actively caused her death remains uncertain. The case remains clouded in mystery, much like Faylene's life itself.